John Gillen here with Silver Sound Guitar, and today I want to cover a topic that I've had a lot of questions about, so sweep picking. First, some of you may not even know what it is, and others of you might have an idea of what it is, but don't even know where to start. And I want to hit both of those things today. So sweep picking in and of itself is just the motion of the right hand going across the strings and across them in kind of a sweeping motion instead of individually picking them. So it'll look something like this. If you have a particular pattern, maybe something like that. So what you can see, that's sort of slow-mo for you. You can see that kind of that pick is going all the way down, and then it's going to sweep back up. And what's happening in the left hand is I'm actually, every single note is sort of staccato, and it creates that sort of pattern. It's a real rapid arpeggio usually, where the pick attacks each string individually, but it sweeps across the strings and sweeps back up. So sometimes this can be a little bit confusing and it's a little difficult to start with. A lot of times people assume that sweep picking is just the sweep motion in that right hand, almost like a strum. The difference though is what the left hand is doing. The left hand is not static here. It's playing each individual note. So there's a lot of left hand, right hand synchronization. And there's a lot dependent on the right hand because this hand can get going pretty quick for most people pretty easily. It's the left hand where we have to be a little bit more conscientious of what we're doing. So here's what I'm gonna do. The first thing to get started when you start thinking about this is get that left hand articulation in place. And in order to do that, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna jump into having this little exercise. I've included some exercises in the links below. Please click on those. You can download them. They'll be in guitar profiles as well as PDF files, and they'll definitely help as I go through this. So this first exercise right here is going to be played on the 9th fret. It kind of starts like an E minor arpeggio, and you can see it here. So we'll start there on the 9th fret, and then the next note is going to be on the 8th fret on the 2nd string, and then on the 1st fret, or 7th fret on the 1st string. And really, you're not even playing the right hand. So here, I usually just like to grab the strings here, and the idea is that you're just trying to get these fingers to play these individual notes. Now, the goal is not to have a good hammer-on. That's not the point of this. The point is just that left hand moving and hitting each individual string. So notice I'm not getting those notes. I just want to get the hand moving in the right direction, okay? So once you're comfortable with that, then you're going to go ahead and pick that up. So we'll start with that picking process again, where you'll be able to think about that strum just moving down. Make sure that the pick kind of drags down like this too. Sometimes you'll feel the need to kind of articulate each individual string. Don't do that. Just let your hand fall and then drag your hand back up. So here's what that'll look like. This is going to be exercise number 2 in that PDF. So we've got that down. And slowly begin to build up speed with it. Okay, so that's exercise number 2. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Again, remember to slow it down, get the articulation first. That's really what's most important. You want to be able to articulate what you're playing cleanly and clearly. Now, I'm going to throw in a second pattern here. So the first one where we started on that kind of E minor shape, this is going to be sort of like a G major power chord. You could kind of think of it like that. So it'll look like this. We're going to start on that E minor, and then we're going to go here, 10, 8, 7. So it'll go. Cool. Now, the whole purpose behind this is it starts to get you thinking beyond just the simple, like, okay, I know one shape, so now I've got a second shape that I can play. Then from there, the next big thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into looking at using this in context with other things. So I'm going to go across and use this in the key of G. So if I go through and play this, I'm going to start on a G arpeggio. I'm actually going to add a hammer-on and a pull-off on this as well, and that'll kind of give you an extra thing to sort of work on here, as if you don't have enough on this one, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that sort of power chord position here, and I'm going to sweep down. But when I get to the top, there you can see with the pick, it's going to hang off, and I'm going to hammer onto the 10th fret. And then I'm going to pull off to the 7th fret, and then a back 8 here. Okay, so a slightly better look at that right here will give you this. You can see that's the left hand there that we're looking at. Cool. So now that you're comfortable with it, let's go ahead and look at what that would look like with the pick. Now the next chord, I'm going to slide up here, and I'm going to play that A minor. Right there. And then the next one is going to be a B minor, then a C major, then a D major, and then I'm going to end right there. So cool. Let's do another look at that with the pick so you can see a better idea of what that looks like. I'm going to slow it down first. Okay. Cool. So there's that one for you. Now the last one is going to combine this a little bit further. The whole point of that 5th exercise there, or that other exercise right there, is just to get you all the way up and down the fretboard here. You can also play this backwards. That's the other thing I haven't really said much, is you can actually go ahead and play these starting on an upstroke instead of the downstroke. For example, on that last one, we'll go ahead and check that out again. If I start here on the 1st string, I can start with an upstroke and then come back down. Or maybe I could go here and it changes it, and now I shift up to the next string. I could also play this whole thing backwards. Like that. So it's good to kind of mix these up a little bit, play with them on your own here, and just kind of get used to shifting those patterns up and down the fretboard. Sweep picking is something I really enjoy doing. I do think it does have to be used kind of carefully, otherwise it just sounds like a blur of notes that you can't really make anything out of. But it's a great accent piece to throw in there. It's something that players, jazz players, have been doing it for decades, and it kind of comes a lot out of the classical tradition anyway, just that arpeggiated feel. But what's fun about it is it just adds a burst to your playing. It doesn't matter if you're playing blues. David Gilmour uses it a fair bit too. So it's one of those things that you can add in any genre, whether you're playing shred or metal, or you're playing blues or jazz, you know? So Barney Kessel's a great jazz player who uses this technique a lot with his arpeggios. Anyway, super great hanging out with you guys. Do shoot us an email if you've got any questions on any of this stuff. You can always leave a comment below. Happy to help. Again, check out the tabs that we have here, and feel free to drop in, send us a line, you know, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And we are also here. We do virtual lessons and in-person lessons. Give us a shout if you are interested, and I will see you guys on the next one.